allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mayor Burris,
Here.
Commissioner Basil. Here. Commissioner Zola,
Here.
Commissioner Mile,
Yes.
Commissioner Seaman,
Here.
Commissioner Thomas,
Here.
Commissioner Williams. Here. Quorum is present.
You have the agenda in front of you. Is there any additions?
Can I ask that the tree committee portion be moved up to the beginning of the new business, just in case I have to get out of here and get home for the little one? So it would be letter C, moving up to letter A. Can we do that?
I'm going to move that up to where?
Just move it to the top of the new business order.
Any others?
Yes. I'd like to move the strike from the agenda under new business section 7A, the adoption of resolution opposing legislation for the general election regarding marijuana, general use of marijuana.
You want to move that to 7? huh?
No,
I'm going to strike.
Strike it?
Yes.
That's a motion.
Yes. I made a motion too.
I'm sorry.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Any others? We need a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda. That's correct, yeah.
Second.
We have a motion and support. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion, all opposed? Motion carried. Public comments. Ray?
I just wanted to ask, on the papers you put out here, where it says attachment A, B, and C, I believe that attachment A is for standing items. If that, it looks like there should be an attachment that goes with the agenda. If it is for the standing items, could that attachment A be on the same line as standing items and to maybe have it be that way? That way it'd be standing items, your attachment A in your packet, whatever it is. But, or are there attachment A, B, and C that goes along with the agenda?
Would you please state your address?
Pardon?
Would you please state your address?
312 Ridge Street.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Public? And we'll move on to standing items. Approval of the regular commissioner meeting minutes, September 25th, 2018.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as written.
Support.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Approve the bills for the month of September 2018 in the amount of $168,356.92.
Motion to approve the bills for the month of September.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor of paying the bills for September, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. We got the reports for the DPW. Oh, okay, I forgot. Sorry. Received the revenue report for September 2018.
I move to approve the report.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor of the report as received, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Now we got the DPW. And they add anything?
Well, thank you.
As a commission, got any questions for DPW? If not, then we'll move on to the manager's report.
Just wanted to highlight what was included in the report. A couple of things that I added was Nassau County is hosting a hazardous waste collection on October 20th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. It'll be over on State Street at the court offices. Still having issues with the over Court and Day Street, Public Works and I and Brian Newell have been taking a look at the sanitary sewer lines, and a quick fix for us is to flush the lines, just to see what's going on there and try to televise. And we have SAW grant monies that we can use for this process. So that's a quick fix, but it'll also be a follow-up, a long-term solution that we have to take a look at, and Brian Newell is going to assist us with that as well. Let's see. We are looking to fill the position at Public Works due to the resignation of Charlie, who's been with us for about 4 or 5 years now. So we're sad to see him go, but looking forward to seeing what type of candidates that we receive through the application process. So that's the most immediate for Public Works. And we're holding the planning commission is holding a public hearing next week, the 17th, for the zoning ordinance and map, which are both available online. So standardonline.com, and there's a posting there. And also under the zoning ordinances, you'll see with the new zoning or proposed zoning ordinance and map is located. So if you see it there and you want to come out, feel free to do so next Wednesday, the 17th. A meeting has been scheduled for the Veterans Park Committee, and that's next Tuesday at 5 o'clock. We'll be meeting and going over a couple of concept layouts that were provided by Brian Newell. And it's been a while since the committee has met, so it'll be good to touch base and see where we're at in the process and go from there. Let's see. Today was the last day for the voter registration at 4 p.m. today. So we also have our ballots in, which came in over, let's say, Monday or Tuesday?
They came in this afternoon.
This afternoon. So Lori and Rachel are preparing to send out absentee ballots and begin the process of preparation for the November election. So that is my report.
Any questions?
When's the deadline for that, these applications?
It's open into the field. This week we're reviewing what we have received this week. So after Jamie and I speak and talk about the applications we received, if we find that we found a few qualified folks, then we'll begin scheduling interviews. If we haven't, we'll continue to accept them.
So you're done accepting, okay.
More questions, we move on to new business. We take number C, trees.
So in your packet, you have a quote from Twin Lakes Nursery, and I just wanted to take a moment and explain what all that entails and the species of trees that were chosen, and just help you get a picture of what is being proposed here. So the 3 recommendations that Preen and Newhoff had last October, I believe, when they did that tree study, were the Skyline Honey Locust, the Princeton Century Ginkgo, and the Jeffers Red Autumn Blaze Maple. And each of these have different attributes that would make them prime candidates in various locations. So the Skyline Honey Locust is, they're made up of these smaller leaflets. So they offer like a sun-dappled shade, they call it. They also grow vigorously, so anywhere they could grow like 2 feet per year even. So they're going to be quick about getting up above the storefronts and out of the way of signage, and provide that shade on Main Street that we're looking for without blocking our businesses. They also are, based on the way that they're shaped, they can be trimmed so that their lower branches provide clearance, or you can trim the lower branches without destroying the overall shape of the tree. This is what Greenville has, some form of honey locust on their Main Street. They're very hardy, resistant to salt conditions, things like that. I don't know if there's anything else missing here. They are thornless, fruitless, seedless, so they shouldn't drop any nasty fruit on our sidewalks. Let's see. The other benefit is because they have those tiny little leaflets, as they fall throughout the fall, they kind of just disperse or disintegrate. So they like them in an urban setting because they're easy to clean up. They're recommended on the City of Chicago's urban tree planting list as well. So that's the Skyline Honey Locust, and those are planned for Main Street. Then we have the Princeton Century Ginkgos, and these are tall, columnar shape, like they're more shaped like a column, they're very narrow, so not necessarily a shade tree, but these are proposed for places on Cameron Street where there's not really a lot of clearance between the buildings and where the tree pits are on the sidewalks. But yet it provides some vegetation and it's going to be tall and out of the way. These also seedless, won't drop anything. Ginkgos are actually a prehistoric tree. Fun fact, they go back to when the dinosaurs roamed the earth. They found fossils of the leaves, and the ginkgo survived the attack on Hiroshima. It was the only vegetation that basically came back. So anyway, ginkgos will, I learned a lot in my research, but ginkgos will stand up to the test of time and be a reliable tree for us. Again, little maintenance, and these are also recommended on Chicago's urban tree planting list. So Then there's the Jeffers Red Autumn Blaze Maple, and these are kind of a hybrid of the red maple and the silver maple. Supposed to have limited droppings, flowers, or fruit, long life expectancy, fast grower. And this has various awards for, such as Urban Tree of the Year from the Arborist magazine. So anyway, all of these check out to be well-recommended trees. And this is what the Jeffers Red Autumn Blaze Maple looks like in the fall. And this isn't what you'd want in front of your businesses. You don't want a big maple tree. You can't really trim the branches of a maple tree out of the way, but there are a couple prime locations where these would be really pretty. So here's the master plan. Where the yellow circles are, those would be where the skyline honey locusts go. So they're up out of the way in front of the businesses, and they turn up very pretty yellow in the fall. And then where you see the orange triangles, those are where the Princeton Century ginkgos, those tall columnar trees, will go. And those were planned based on where there's room for them. There's a lot of places on North and South Camborne where it's not really conducive to planting a tree. It's just too close to a building or an awning. So these teal little boxes that you see here, ideally someday in the future we could come up with a plan for planters to go there if we want some vegetation there. But in the meanwhile, that's not part of phase one anyway. And then these two red circles would be the locations where we would put the Jeffers Red. So as you're going down, you see this big pop of red color. And then also the other two Jeffers Reds that you see on the quote are going to replace the two mulberries that we took out in the parking lot. So,
You're saying that's, there can be two there, that,
yeah, there'll be 1, 2, and then there's 3, 4 over here in the parking lot. So you'll see that on the quote, there's 4 Jeffers Red Autumn Blaze Maples. That's where they're going. The DPW has already transplanted the 2 lilacs that were bilepics here and put them over here on South Camborne because they're going to stay short and there's power lines there, so we can still use those trees, and but they'll be in a better location. So I think that this is a picture of what those honey locusts look like in Greenville in the fall and then in the summertime. So you can see, how you can trim them, and it doesn't destroy the canopy effect. And I don't have to go through all these, but most of those yellow circles were places where there was conveniently no tree. And then a couple, like this one got transplanted in the last week here over one, so that it'd be symmetric. And I think the ones by the bank still have to get taken care of last time I drove through, if they weren't taken care of today. But then there's, some dead ones that will come up. There's a new one, dead one. So. Here's where you can see Camborne Street, as I was saying, there's an awning here. And so in the plan that you saw, there's planter, 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 and then a tree at the end. That's not gonna obstruct or get in the way of the awning. And then on the other side, this is where Jeffers Red would go, and these beds will be just for that tree. We did not choose to put any trees in the beds because the roots take over and you can't plant any flowers. It just chokes everything out. So, but these 2 beds would be designated for those red maples. And then the tall Princeton Century ginkgos would go here. Boom, boom, boom. And then here's the dance studio side of the street. We would do planter there eventually, put a ginkgo there. And then here is a place that's not conducive for a tree. So planter there, and then tall tree there. And then here's where the 2 lilacs are now standing. And on the other side of the street by the hotel, this is actually a raised up sidewalk, it's not even ground level. So, planter, 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 and then at the end, when it's ground level, we put the Winston Century tree. And then the Jeffers red maple would go here. And that's kind of what we discussed. This price, $12,600, covers all of those trees. And then we can look at possibly doing another phase if we want to get some planters, maybe do something like what we did with the plaque, where you could sponsor a planter and get your family name on a plaque on it, or, there, you know, that has yet to be determined. But, as far as this year goes, it's in the budget to put these trees in.
But on the maples, the only problem is they're susceptible to fungus.
That particular one,
Says it right now.
when it, well, that's why we're not planting a whole lot of them too. Like, we kind of want to see before we go nuts on planting trees everywhere. See how they do. They have many, many awards, I
See,
mean,
fungus is a
yeah.
potential problem.
potential. Yeah,
And right now, the box elder, Japanese beetles that went after the elm trees are going to maples.
I think we had ash downtown originally.
Yeah,
Um,
the dashboard got to them, but they're moving to everything's moving to maples. Aspinall's cut a lot of them down because of it.
Well, I mean, it's 4 trees.
But it's 4 that we can replace with something else that they ain't gonna bother.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do if they get fungus?
I mean, we could try just 2 and see how they do, and
But-
if you want, I don't know.
Find another one that, not potential to fungus, because that's just more hassle than you're gonna,
Well, with any tree, I mean, something could, there's a potential con for any of them.
but that fungus is nasty. Puts knots on them all over them.
So is this a proposal?
What about the large flower beds on the corners?
Well, I believe the DPW was taking out the roots of some of them this past week even. And the idea is that they will be redeveloped and revitalized without all the roots in them. So we can put new landscaping in them.
No trees. That was one of the main things that was a problem. Some of them roots got awful big.
We definitely gotta keep an eye on them and see how they're doing. I think we would do that the same, with these new trees that are going in. So that wouldn't be a problem for us to maintain, working with Public Works and the things that we learned before, so going through this process, and I think we're a lot smarter to be on top of things.
They do have a warranty, a year warranty. So if anything happens in the first year, we're covered.
See, and that was not listed as a recommendation for a street tree.
Yeah, street trees are for like the tree pits. You wouldn't want to put a maple in one of the tree pits, but I believe there's enough space in that. That's like a larger bed, so.
What's your pleasure? Such consideration of whether we want to go with this or not.
I think Jane put a lot of work into this. I think we ought to go with it. I make a motion.
I
I agree to go with it, it's just the maples are the ones that bother me.
We'll deal with it.
Put the ginkgos back into those,
Yeah,
because
we'll deal with it when it happens.
that's just wasting money.
No, it's not. It's in the
And that's
budget.
running into what we ran into this
It's in the
time.
budget.
We had to take trees out because there were problems. The trees in there, there will be no more problems.
sprayed.
There's no guarantee with any tree put in there, but
Is there anything that can be preventative for the fungus before it would become an issue? I mean, I don't know anything about plants, so, yeah.
Hire Terry Anderson every week to spray them, that ain't right.
Who's second?
We have a motion, do we have support?
I'll support Mike's motion.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Okay.
Motion carried. Now we'll go back up to B. Consideration by the city commission to approve the contract for decorations by a company in Hudsonville at a cost to the city of $2,565.
I move they approve the contract,
I will second.
install and maintain.
We have a motion, any further discussion? All in favor of hiring this company, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Now we go back down to D. Consideration for city commission to accept quote from Hopkins Lawn Care and Snow Removal of Sheridan in the amount of $1,300 for the annual cleaning of Forest Hills Cemetery. What's your pleasure?
I move we adopt it.
Jamie, what do you think?
That's a
Okay,
good deal.
I'll second.
We have a motion and support. Further comments? All in favor of hiring this company, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Now we go down to E. Consideration by the city commission to accept the agreement of maintenance of storm and water management facilities and measures from Trinity Church.
What is it?
What is that really saying?
So the maintenance agreement, where that was, to go back, the planning commission approved the site plan for Trinity Church to construct a parking lot. And part of the requirement is to have a maintenance agreement in place. They had one in place for the existing parking lot. This is a new build, and instead of the engineer going and trying to amend the existing agreement, he felt that it was best to just create a new one that would go with the property, so we would require them to have this attached to the deed, and it'll be recorded as they have to also maintain this new parking lot if it is built.
So then we have to approve.
I would like to, it's an agreement, so I'd like to bring before the city commission, any types of contracts or agreements.
Basically, it's in the hand, the other one, just part of the new property.
Yeah.
Point of order possibly. I believe the agreement was they were not to construct this work or to receive a permit unless they had a signed, engineered plan to keep all the water on their property.
Right, this is an agreement just to maintain it. There have been no permits issued. So I would like to have city commission's approval of this agreement first.
I move we adopt the agreement.
Yeah, second it.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Yeah.
All opposed, motion carried. Now we're down to F. Set City of Stanton Halloween trick or treat hours for Wednesday, October 31st, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m.
I'll make a motion to accept, or to set the trick or treating hours from 5 to 7 p.m.
I'll second.
Have a motion and support. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. We open the floor again to public comments.
Who gives out the most candy? Whose house? We can get that on
If you
camera.
go down to the American Legion and there's a whole.
Yeah, but, like, they do trunk or
Trunk or
treat, so
treat.
does Trinity Church.
That's what when I was
Comes
in
my
the
year,
street.
nobody goes down.
Especially if it's raining, they all,
I think that person
Really?
in 5 years.
it's very sparse at my
Better
house.
than fancy.
Because I think they all live in trunk or treat.
I mean, it's done.
People live there. 2,000 people.
We have Delta Myrtle May. We have a lot there that people get a real kick out of it.
Ken, you can't.
Any other comments from the public? Not, then we'll move to commissioner comments.
I was wondering if, or when we would get another report from Franz on the progress that's being made. I happened to notice it on the bill again, and I was wondering what he was up to.
He was unable to make the city commission meeting. He's done a report at the DDA, so I can forward a copy of what was presented there. And we also met this morning, Franz and I met with Sue DeVries from NEDC, just to get me in more in the loop of what the process has been and where we're at. So, like I said, I can forward a copy to the commissioners this week as part of my weekly report and do that and see if he can actually come out to the next meeting as well.
Thanks.
His contract is coming up in November, so
Correct.
that's just, that we all are aware of.
Any other commissioner comments?
Yeah, I got one. With everything that's going on, the city helping the county out with their mutual agreement and all this other, I just want to let them know, whoever gets on the election next time, you might want to think about raising the city taxpayer taxes a little bit to back everything, to equal everything out.
Any other comments? And we need a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
We have a motion and support to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Right?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried.